saddens me to think down through the centuries that mankind could still be that small. Still, I've known love that lasts through the ages, and I've cherished the hearts that have danced with mine. And there's so many things I would understand if one life was enough time. If one life was enough time.
Driving the winding roads of Tennessee, saw an anchor on a mountain, 1,000 miles from any sea. Can't be too careful, never know what you might need. You don't know I went from fool to celebrity. I'm getting further from the things I thought I knew, but I'm closer to the truth. There's a distance to be crossed, and it's the space between me and you.
We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the birds, they tell us. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the trees, they tell us. We're here to be lifted in love, to listen to love as a flower raises its face to the sun. We are all one, here to be lifted in grace and love. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the sky, it tells us. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the trees, they tell us. We're here to be lifted in love, to listen to love as the children raise all their faces to the sun. We are all one, here to be lifted in grace and love. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the trees, they tell us. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the seas, they tell us. We're here to be lifted in love, to listen to love as the flower raises its face to the sun. We are all one, here to be lifted in grace and love.
Good morning. I love you. I miss you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We're back again in virtual world for All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church's Sunday service. Have no idea what the count is at this point. I'll have to check up on it for next week. But for those of you who may be visiting for the first time, this is a church that's built on covenant, not creed. We don't all think alike about deep things in faith and religion and in other ways also. But that's our challenge and that's our covenant. Our covenant is to treat one another respectfully and to try to walk out into the world compassion and justice and protection of the web that we're all connected with. To that end, whoever you are welcome here if you care to be here with us in mutual respect, even when we get back together. Hopefully, we'll start walking that way before too long. Anyway, glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us and hope that you will let us hear from you, whether it's in the chat on Facebook or through emails and stuff like that. There are a bunch of things we would love for you to be part of, and we'll be talking about some of those during the announcements today. We do announcements at the beginning of the service so that when we get to the worship segment, we can kind of settle into that. So I want to invite our board person for today, Dawn Subisic, to share with us, if you will, Dawn.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that introduction. I like that music. So this morning I wanted to mention a few things. I want to show our appreciation for our volunteer of the month, who is Rovina Windsor. And Rovina is a big help to us. She is our office volunteer, and she some of her duties include maintaining our mailing list and other important information, things. I'm sure there's just a plethora of things that she takes control over and helps us with. Thank you so much. And also she leads the Druid group and will have information about resuming outdoor gatherings for that group very soon. And I want to mention next weekend, next Saturday on the 8th, we will have building and grounds. And this time we're going to have quite a few of our regular people that are not going to be able to attend. So I ask that, if you've never been or if you haven't been in a while, please consider doing that, because we have some work that needs to be done on the outside and inside the church. Just keep it beautiful and just extend a little bit of love to our building. And also on May the 30th, we are going to have a congregational meeting, and we hope everybody can join us in that. We need your participation, and we want to know what you think about things that are important in the church. And I guess that's about it. And enjoy the rest of the service. Glad to be here with you this morning.
For spring. That's a permit for a Kelly. Yeah, I'll take that. Good morning. I'm Susan Kelly Caldwell, the Director of Religious Education at All Souls, and I'm glad that you could join us today. I want to mention, first of all, a few things in religious education. Our adult religious education study group on the book White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo is going to take a break next week. Barbara Dager, my co-facilitator, and I are going to take the day off for, not the whole day, but we're going to take the morning off for Mother's Day. And we will resume the following week with chapter 6, so that the group will hang in and rejoin that week. As children and youth religious education, we'll have family religious education today at 1 p.m. Theme today is Peaceful Fights for Equal Rights. We're going to be looking at a book by that name that's been interspersed. It's a really nice video about the things we can do to make the changes we want to see. So I look forward to that. High school group will meet this Tuesday at 7 p.m. And I'll get a reminder out to y'all about that too, but that's still the plan. And North Louisiana Interfaith is starting a group of clusters of various congregations that are kind of close together, meeting together, some predominantly churches, some predominantly Black churches, to meet together initially to build relationships, just to get to know each other. We'll meet together in a large group and then break into small groups. And we're encouraging you to join us for that. That will be May 18th. There will be a registration link out before too long. Just kind of watch your emails and watch whatever you watch, whether it's Slack or Facebook or your emails or whatever. And we'll be making a link for that very soon, but that will be on May the 18th at 6 p.m. And I am going to pass it to Melissa Lewis, who is going to tell you about the Knoll Food Pantry. And Melissa, I just want to tell you, I will come let you in the building today, so you don't have to stand in there if you want that.
It looks like I see blue sky, so I think maybe things will be fine. But today is Food Pantry Day from 2 to 4 o'clock at the church. They're asking this month for canned mixed vegetables, Jiffy cornbread mix, and boxes of cereal. I'll be there 2 to 4, but if you drop it off, there's certainly plenty of covered area to put it under. You don't have to come when I'm there, but we appreciate the donations. 2 to 4 today. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Susan. Were you through?
Oh, I was, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I wanted to mention that as Dawn was talking about the Building and Grounds Day, the building's been here the whole time. When summer gets here, it's cooler today, and so they're not here today. But the bees are in the sanctuary, and the wasps are in the office, and the spiders have been here busily weaving their webs the whole time, for a year now. There are things, nooks and crannies all over this place that need just a little bit of love. Not a whole lot of hard work, but trying to get the place ready for everyone when we get to come back and stay on top of vines and critters. And so if you have a chance, we really would love to have you here next Saturday. Let's see. We're approaching the spirit of worship, and we use that word and its Old English roots of excuse me, I was getting someone was talking to me. The Old English roots of lifting and elevating and contemplating matters of worth. And so yours may not be identical to mine, but in a spirit of worship, in a spirit of reverence, in a spirit of considering what's of ultimate importance, we come together. And we will be, what I was being kind of waved at about is that we're going to begin trying to do the scaffolding and stuff for the lighting in the sanctuary. If you would like to participate in that, and it really does, it's multi-person kind of intensive, because we have to set up the scaffolding and move it all over the sanctuary, like for each light and stuff like that. We're doing different lights than we've done before, so we have to build to a higher level. I mean, there's a lot involved, and it usually, last time we did it, we had about a half a dozen people, and it pretty easily takes 4, if not more than that. So if we're going to be doing this possibly every day this week, and if you're willing to be a part of that, I invite you to get in touch with Bennett or join us for coffee hour after the worship service, because we will be continuing this discussion about timing and find out when we might be doing what, okay? Okay, so take a breath. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Let's try to be here together with our energy, reaching out to one another across this distance. Rest now. Rest in the peace of this moment. Be at ease. Look up at the day-blind stars and down at the grass. Imagine the stars looking back at you over years and centuries, across oceans of empty space. Imagine the feel of the grass on your bare feet, and feel it whether dry and crunchy or soft, cool and supple. Rest now. Rest in the peace of this moment. In its openness, we become able to receive. Dream for a little while of young people and young animals, innocent in the way of the young, careless and uncaring, accepting everything in their newness. Dream for a little while of the elders and the wisdom they have to give. the voices that say to you, it is right and proper to rest now. Rest in the peace of this moment. Be still at the turning axis of the world and let go of the long unspooling of history, of sorrow and joy and birth and death and all the long years between. Rest now. Rest in the peace of this moment. I stretch forth my hand, knowing not what I shall touch. A tender spot, an open wound, warmth, fragile blossoms, pulsing life, a rock, ice. I'm tentative, trembling, wishing to avoid hurt, wanting to link my life with life. Lonely, I desire companions. Exposed or naked, I long for defenders. Lost, I want to find, to be found. Will I touch strangers or enemies or nothing? My hand is withdrawn, but still it touches my vulnerable skin, my furrowed brow, my empty pocket, my full heart. Do others reach, tremble, withdraw? Do they desire and long and seek? Are they lonely, fearful, or lost? Will they grasp a tentative, trembling hand? I stretch forth my hand, knowing not what I shall touch, but hoping. As we attempt to walk responsibly on this planet, we need perspective. If we hope to make a difference, we need a place from which to act. What are the Buddhist insights that can make our lives deeper and more productive? This is the purpose of Zazen or koans. I walk down to the corner store and get a quart of milk. I sit in the playground and sing a silly song with the children. The point is to return. To find our depth is to return to daily life. We wander the world to find that wisdom is always here. It is always right at home. This is the secret of the Zen way. We sit quietly or walk quietly. Perhaps we engage koans. We visit with a friend. To sit on a hillside with the rivers and the earth, the grasses and the trees, and enjoy that full round moon shining overhead is the fullness of Zen and indeed the fullness of our humanity. The point of Zen is just this: emptying. And out of this emptying, returning home. This right here and now moment is the great play of existence, of life, of death. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, this moment is where life is playing out. Of all that was and is and shall be. This very moment is both the doorway to heaven and heaven itself. Our teachers and friends who have walked the way before stand at the door beckoning to us. They give us a broad wink. A crooked finger wiggles at us. beckoning us, welcoming us. All we need to do is step through. I would like to invite the Russell Peck family, I believe, to lead our children's chalice lighting today.
We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the Church of the Open Mind. This is the Church of the Helping Hand. This is the Church of the Loving Heart.
Well, thank y'all. Brittany had prepared a slide and I opened my mouth and but thank you, Brittany. I do appreciate the work. As we light this chalice, as the chalice is lit, let us come together into the sacred space that in community we create. Let the cares of the day fall away and know that here is a place for quiet reflection, for a pause in our lives, for breathing into our true selves, our true selves. Let what is said and felt here add richness to the dimensions of our lives and spiritual practices. We are strong together in community. We share the experience of being human. Let the warmth of the chalice light lit during our time together connect us and carry us through the world. May the flame of this chalice, the symbol of our faith, connect us to all who have come before us, all who are with us in body and spirit, and all who are yet to come into being. May it serve as a reminder of our unity and connection across all time and space. Is Melissa leading our unison affirmation, or the Russell Pecks are leading our
Kate
unison
and
affirmation?
Jackson.
Yeah, a different branch of the Russell Peck family.
Wait.
Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do a covenant with each other. I was laughing through the whole thing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I would invite you to sing along with the song. I know it's been a long time. We need to get our voices back in shape, lifting them in invitation and invocation. This is a familiar one. I'll play it. Can we keep the words up?
And good morning again. You know, no matter how young or how old you are, I'll bet that sometimes you have days where the world just feels like it's crowding in, where your mind is so full of worries. Maybe you're just so busy you don't know how you'll get everything done. Maybe you're worried about a test that's coming up at school or an interview coming up at work. You've had an argument with a friend, or a spouse or a parent, and you're not sure how you're going to settle it. And it can just all feel overwhelming. There is something you can do right in that moment that will help. And I'm not saying it will make all those worries go away, but it will make more open space inside your mind so that the worries and stresses don't feel so big, don't feel like they're taking quite so much space. So first, I want you to take a great big breath through your nose as if you are smelling something really good, maybe some beautiful flowers, maybe a big warm brownies or pizza, whatever smells really, really good to you. I want you to just take that in. And if it helps, grab something that smells really good to you, do that. But just take the time to imagine that and to really smell that as you really take in that big, big breath. And then when you blow out your breath through your mouth, blow it out as if you are blowing out a lot of birthday candles. Like really blow it out for a longer time than you took it in. Just like. And you can think of it as blowing the worries away. But you can also just think of it as I said, making that space in your head where the problems don't seem quite so big. Do that several times. And when you do it, say the second or third or fourth time, as Reverend Barbara said at the beginning of the service, you can feel your shoulders kind of drop down from your ears. And you just do that. And you're going to find that with that room that you've created in your mind, there's more space to put those words in perspective. They look maybe more the size they really are. Or maybe they're still really big, but there's more space around them to deal with them. And if you've done that with me in these past few minutes, then you're in a really good place now to listen to Larry. So thank you.
Have we lost our meditation leader?
Larry, you're muted if you're here.
Well, Miss Susan did a nice job of leading one. Well, I'm afraid we may be having technical difficulties here today. It's a rainy day in Shreveport, and that usually brings with it some trouble. So let your ease be in this time anyway. As Larry would tell us, take a breath that is soft and kind. and maybe enjoy some music, huh, Brittany? Take it away, Larry.
Thank you. A moment of empty openness there. For today's meditation, let yourself find a comfortable position, your body balanced, your spine straight. Begin with a deep, comfortable breath, shifting your attention to your heart space. And imagine breathing in and out of your heart. Allow your breath to deepen and slow. Allow your breath to be soft and kind. As you pause in this sacred moment, reflect. My life often feels so full of demands and challenges. There seems little time to grow into who I wish to be. Life presses in on me. In the face of obstacles, I can feel small and overwhelmed. My efforts often seem to magnify the problems. My struggle makes life close in and narrow further. Today I pause and rest in the mindful presence that is everywhere and nowhere. I pause and look without judgment or resistance. My breath slows, my mind awakens, my heart opens. I sit beside the flowing stream of life and watch all the many parts of me and my experience in all their endless patterns move past me, the unmoving and unmoved witness of all that is. Memories and expectations, hopes and fears, Events and circumstances all flow past in endless transformation, each transient, each seeming so solid and real in its brief and changing presence. As I now center in this moment with open heart and mind, the unfolding display before me slows. I notice between each thought, each memory, each experience in the flow, that there is a gap, a simple open space. My attention now turns toward that gap between the thoughts and dreams and all their stories of suffering and separation. In that empty, open space, I now rest. In that emptiness, I find an unexpected fullness, clarity and light without limit, a loving kindness that welcomes and heals every changing story. Here too, I find the treasure of my true nature. I am not a character in the unfolding drama with all its challenges and changes. I am the heart of life itself, vast and without limit. I am the space that allows all that is. I am like the empty, graciously open sky, open to every cloud. I am like the ocean, clear and deep, supporting and allowing the endless play of surface waves. It is from this open, empty space of warmth and life I now arise and return to embrace and heal every challenge of my life. It is from the clear compassion of this space I reach out to heal every suffering and injustice I encounter. And it is from this sacred space, so empty and so full, that I walk forward hand in hand with beloved community to celebrate the changing dance of life. Breathing in and breathing out, I pause and notice the gap between, beyond all words and limits, beyond emptiness or fullness. Breathing in, I touch the vast openness of being itself. With reverence, I pause, and breathing out, I bring healing presence to all of life.
When we get to be here together, we have books that we use, gray hymnals, sometimes teal ones. In the gray hymnal, there's a reading, number 600, that we may be well familiar with if we've been here, a part of the congregation for years, but it comes from Lao Tzu. And it says, 30 spokes share the wheel's hub. It's the center whole that makes it useful. Shaped clay into a vessel, it is the space within that makes it useful. Cut doors and windows for a room, it is the holes that make it useful. Therefore, profit comes from what is there, usefulness from what is not there. Are you familiar with koans? There's one that goes, when you can do nothing, what can you do? As I'm given to understand it, Zen Buddhist koans are a tool in part generated specifically for frustrating logic and confounding intellectual manipulation or navigation. The Huffington Post quoted Don Deonda, who's the author of See for Yourself, Zen Mindfulness for the Next Generation. And he explained it this way: the koan serves as a surgical tool used to cut into and then break through the mind of the practitioner. Koans aren't just puzzles that your mind figures out suddenly and proclaims, aha, the answer is 3. They wait for you to open enough to allow the space necessary for them to enter into your depths, the inner regions beyond knowing. Occasionally, like this week, when I sit to gather my thoughts on what topic I might like to broach with you, I find that my mind goes blank. For a time, search as I might, nothing at all seems to come up. It feels rather empty. In sharp contrast to that, occasionally when I sit to gather myself and attempt to empty my mind, all manner of things crowd in from every side. It works about as well as trying to drill a hole in water. And I would guess that many of you have had similar experiences to those two things in one circumstance or another. We strive against unwanted emptiness, stark spaces and vacancies, things that feel gaping, sometimes holes in areas of our lives that have previously been filled with things or people or ideas, causes that we enjoyed or cared about or got caught up in. And then at the same time, we struggle to generate needed space, time, rest, openness. Can all of that actually be good? The striving against the vacancies and the striving for the openness? I think this familiar pattern can, in some ways, like a Zen koan, serve as a foil for our determination to wield control over our inner lives. Now, as our earlier reading from Lao Tzu pointed out, it's the empty space that allows for usefulness. And even our children's chalice lighting demonstrates the very real need for empty space. This is the church of the open mind. Our minds are not, nor can they be, open if they're already full of biases and predispositions, foregone conclusions and attitudes, or things that we think we have learned once and for all and don't need to learn any more about. This is the church of the helping hand. And I'm never really sure whether it's one hand or two. But hands cannot reach out to touch or assist if they're already holding on to something, clinging, maybe even embracing. The Church of the Loving Heart. Now, I am a child of the 60s and 70s, and there was a Moody Blues song called Questions that I used to perform. But anyway, one of the lines in that song says, "All the love you've been giving has all been meant for you." And the Beatles in the song The End say, "And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make." It's what we give or let go of that gives us the capacity to love, that is being loving, self-emptying, that makes life full and even allows us to feel the love that's coming back to us. In some contexts, scientists will tell us that matter is 99.9999999999999% empty space. Richard Dawkins said that the nucleus of an atom is like a fly in a sports stadium, and that the next atom is the next sports stadium. I guess he's talking about how far apart they are from each other in reality, and that's how much space is between the atoms. In the next context, science will tell us that space is not empty. It's replete with energy and particles that flit in and out of existence. So just suppose there is no such thing as empty space. We're always drilling holes in water. Wouldn't the matter then become what the spaces are full of, what we fill them with? There's a song I started a number of years ago and haven't yet finished that goes, "Every breath I'm mindful about, I'm lifting the possibilities out of an endless ocean, the space between. There where the magic of atoms occurs and the meaning of every sound can be heard, poetry in motion is the space between." Maybe one day I'll find its ending. But several times lately, I've spoken about the significance of even the smallest of interruptions in our routines and habitual thought patterns. Room for a heartbeat or a breath of hesitation that can give us the opportunity to consider other alternatives to the ways that we always think, the places that our minds automatically go, the things that we take for granted, even if we don't recognize that we're taking them for granted. I generally encourage the cultivation of spiritual practices, and I think it's really hard to have the discipline to do them consistently, and life doesn't let you. But those spiritual practices provide emotional and psychological and physical support for the efforts to create those spaces. Some years ago, during our candle lighting, which we get to do when we have in-person services, which has been cut out during our virtual configurations, but there was a song I shared. The name of the song was Focus by a band called Focus. And in it, there was the slightest hesitation, the briefest of pauses in the guitar work that for me expresses more emotion than the entire rest of the multi-movement piece. the spaces that we can find or generate the second that you pull the drill out of the water. Those make all the difference. This year's Academy Award for Best Picture went to the film Nomadland. Movies are kind of hard to catch right now. But the whole thing is in some way a study on empty space and priorities and what one chooses to fill the space with, as well as the hard work one must do to be able to make those decisions conscious ones, healthy, and more free, less cluttered and burdened. French philosopher and political activist Simone Weil said, "Grace fills empty spaces, but it can only enter where there is a void to receive it. And it is grace itself which makes this void, something that has to be allowed, not something that we can force, not something that we can think our way into." British Buddhist teacher Stephen Batchelor said, "Human flourishing first stirs in that clear, bright, empty space where neurotic self-centeredness realizes that it has no ground at all to stand on. One is then freed to pour forth like sunlight." As crowded as your lives can become, you deserve, and the world deserves from you, that you find those breaths and make those spaces. Open your hands and hearts and minds so the love you want to give and receive from the world can flow both ways. You do deserve that, you know. The world needs it, we know. The world, or at least our portion of it, is moving slowly back toward reopening. Baby steps here and there, and some places perhaps less responsible, even chasmic leaps. We're part of a world that is desperate for us to build it back better. It needs our openness and availability, and in large part vulnerability and not knowing, so that the creativity that gives us ideas we've never had before, solutions that haven't been here before, can show up. Let us commit to that turn in our journeys that will take us toward the most loving and compassionate, spacious lives we can live. I'm going to share a song with you that I wrote with Cookie Garner, Cynthia Garner. Things get too crowded and I get crazy. Things get too cluttered and I can't see. I have a moral obligation to take good care of me. Got a little bit of room a little change in me, darling. It's a time for breaking free. Hurry, hurry up and slow down. We're putting the rocks down. Got a little piece of land to tend. Got a little money I might spend. Got this note I need to send. Do you remember when, darling? We're living history. Hurry, hurry, hurry up and slow down. We're plopping, dropping, sitting, setting, letting, laying, putting the rocks down. We carry so many things we're not meant to bear. My worries are only serving up fresh despair. Lighten my perspective, and while I still care, I get a lot more done and do it with savoir-faire. Slow down. We're plopping, dropping, sitting, setting, letting, laying, putting the rocks down. Gave away what I didn't need. Let my inner artist go to sea. Found me much more able to be all that life was really asking me, darling. Would you like some company? Hurry, hurry, hurry up and slow down. We're plopping, dropping, sitting, setting, letting, laying, putting the rocks down. Hurry, hurry up and slow down. We're putting the rocks down. From 365 Tao Daily Meditations. Some days are extremely fluid and all possible courses of action are equally attractive. Rather than do something arbitrary, it is far better to empty oneself completely. Then the more subtle current of life may be felt. One should avoid the mistake of random action. Arbitrary action will most likely be out of accord with the times. It's artificial, a structure that we impose from our own thought. Such movements are invariably stilted and wooden. They do not have the fresh perfection of the natural. We do not have enough peace. Yet peace will never be attained by perpetual action. Stirred water never has the chance to settle clear. A tree buffeted by winds can never grow straight. Give up all unnecessary activity. Give up all arbitrary action. Make yourself receptive. The peace that you seek shall be quickly at hand. This is my prayer for each of you. you in this community and for our broader community. May each of you find yourselves surprised by intermittent respites, breathing room that feels full of kindness and grace. May each breath and heartbeat you live in those spaces multiply the love that you give and that you receive. I'll see you next week. Until then, peace be with you as you carry what light this has helped you gather and fuel. Ashe, amen. So be it. Blessed be.